So sobering. And as we reach this devastating milestone, Amna Nawaz has more about the people behind the number. Amna.
That's right, Judy. Over the last 6 months, we've tried to capture the heartbreaking and the staggering loss of life by sharing the names, the faces, and the stories of just a few of the hundreds of Americans who died each week from COVID-19. And here they are, 115 teachers, nurses, artists, and grandparents from every corner of the country and every walk of life. One was Philip Kahn. He was 100 years old, but his family says as lively as ever. He kept his album of military photos close at hand.
I stood next to the gate, but I didn't know it had a bomb. And I didn't know I was 4 feet from the atomic bomb.
An Air Force co-pilot, Kahn fought at Iwo Jima, later taking aerial surveys of the devastation from U.S. atomic bombs. He settled in New York, worked construction on the World Trade Center, and became a father, grandfather, and great-grandfather. This is Lanika Strozier. Raised by her grandmother, she was diagnosed early with a severe learning disability, but studied nonstop and became a researcher at the world-renowned Field Museum in Chicago. She was at home in the lab or out with friends, and she was just 35 years old. According to her wife, spreading love and fighting for justice was a calling for Reverend Vickey Gibbs. Her final sermon at her Houston church was an impassioned call to action on the pandemic and racial inequality.
Be the bridge to equality by demanding and voting in change.
Gibbs had a special bond with her grandson, whom she gifted the nickname Boo. Reverend Gibbs was 57 years old. Postal worker Jesus Collazos took time to greet every neighbor along his mail route in Arlington, Virginia. He spent over 20 years in the Postal Service after immigrating from Colombia. He and his wife raised 2 children in a home he first discovered along his route. At 67 years old, he loved to show off his grandchildren on social media, always with the caption, "Life is good." Hatsi Yasukochi was the heart of her family-run San Francisco bakery.
I decorate cakes, I answer the phones, and I wait on customers.
She lived by the Japanese phrase gamen, to persevere, enduring imprisonment with her family in U.S. internment camps in the 1940s and beating breast cancer as an adult. The 80-year-old grandmother's bakery walls were adorned with family photos and silly Snapchats. Dolly Raper was one of few fluent Cherokee speakers left in the Cherokee Nation, and according to her family, made the best fry bread in Oklahoma. Known for her generosity, friends say Dolly was always there with a helping hand. She never complained, not even when battling breast cancer. The matriarch of her family, Dolly was a mother, a grandmother, and a great-grandmother. She was 67 years old when she died. And those stories are just a fraction of the roughly 200,000 American lives lost to the pandemic so far.